Why wouldn't the sons of Eliab appear at the tabernacle? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Numbers on Walking Through the Bible.
His word, the glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, turn to Numbers 16. We're going to be reading from verses 8 to 19. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Numbers 16, beginning of verse 8. Then Moses said to Korah, "Hear now, you sons of Levi, is it a small thing to you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, to do the work of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to serve them, and that he has brought you near to himself, you and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with you? And are you seeking the priesthood also? Therefore you and all your company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron, that you complain against him?" And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come up. Is it a small thing that you have brought us up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you should keep acting like a prince over us? Moreover, you have not brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, nor given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up." Then Moses was very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not respect their offering. I have not taken one donkey from them, nor have I hurt one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "Tomorrow you and all your company be present before the Lord, you and they, as well as Aaron. Let each take his censer and put incense in it, and each of you bring his censer before the Lord, 250 censers, both you and Aaron, each with his censer." So every man took his censer, put fire in it, laid incense on it, and stood at the door of the tabernacle of meeting with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then the glory of the Lord appeared to all the congregation. In our last lesson, we had told to us the beginning of the rebellion of Korah. Korah was a Levite of the house of Kohath, so he was not a priest, but one of those responsible for transporting the holy things. His quarrel against Moses and Aaron was that they had made themselves too high in authority to pronounce what is holy and what is not. He said that the entire congregation was holy enough, and they didn't need to be led by Moses. Moses was obviously angry at this statement, for he didn't elevate himself to the position he was in. God did. And he didn't devise the law on his own. God did. God determines who is holy and who is not. No man does this. Coming now to verse 8, Moses continues talking to Korah. He asks them if it is a small thing that God has separated them from the congregation of Israel to work in the tabernacle of the Lord. In other words, God had elevated them from among Israel. He didn't have to do that. He could have elevated another tribe. Why are they thus not content with what God has done? Do they also want the priesthood too, something that God hadn't given them? What Moses is doing here is trying to show them that not only do they have an exalted position as well, but it was God who put them there, not Moses. And so if they come up against Moses, what they're really doing is coming up against God. If he could get them to realize that God is the one who does the appointing, perhaps he could put down this rebellion. Moses then went on to defend Aaron by asking Korah, what did they have against Aaron? Aaron was not the prophet of God. He was the high priest. Like Moses, he also didn't elevate himself to that position, so Korah should have nothing against Aaron. Following his speech, Moses then requested that Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, come forward. These were part of the ringleaders of this rebellion, but seemingly not present with Korah on this occasion. They refused to come due to the fact that they were angry that they didn't get to go to the promised land, instead blaming Moses for having them die out in the wilderness. So it appears that this rebellion had two different factions. Korah was angry with Moses for supposedly making himself a leader, and others, led by Dathan and Abiram, were angry with Moses for their current condition in the wilderness. Like with Korah, they were blaming the wrong people, for Moses wasn't the cause of their not entering the promised land. They were for rebelling against God, and this was the punishment handed down by God for their sins. Moses was angry at this and requested the Lord not respect their offerings. What offering Moses is referring to, we don't know, but suffice it to say, Moses wanted God to punish these men for what they were doing, for he had not taken one thing from these men, nor had he hurt them. Moses then turned to Korah and reiterated that the next day they were to return with their censers full of incense and bring it before the Lord at the tabernacle. This they did, after which the glory of the Lord appeared at the door of the tabernacle before the whole congregation. What happens next? We'll discuss, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Numbers chapter 16, verses 20 to 30, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.